Hi everyone, Aiden here at the etrailer. Today we're going to be taking a look at the CURT Premium hanging style bike rack and seeing how it fits on the back of our 2018 Thor Miramar Motorhome. Now with this hanging style bike rack, it's going to be able to carry up to 4 bikes and it's going to hold them by the frame hanging down below these arms. And before we get any further, I do want to say right off the bat, I wouldn't recommend this bike rack for this particular motorhome. There's a lot of clearance issues that I want to show you in this video so you know what you're getting into if you do choose this bike rack, but I think there's better options out there like the Yakima LongHaul. So if you like the hanging style rack, you like the ability to carry up to 4 bikes, then keep watching, you might see some of those benefits, and the LongHaul could be a better option for you there. And in some cases, I think depending on the bikes you have, it could maybe work, but again, for me personally, I don't think it's a great fit, and we'll show you all why in a second. Now as for the CURT Premium, it's going to be able to carry up to 4 bikes, and in total carry 180 pounds. So the weight capacity is pretty good here. If you need a 5 bike capacity, you can get a 5 bike version of this, which will add a next set of cradles on the outside and be able to carry up to 225 pounds. So if you need that, that can be a good option for you. Because it's a hanging style rack though, the usual things are going to apply, like not being the best fit for alternative frame bikes. In those cases, we need a bike adapter bar to make sure that the bike can hang level over these arms and fit over there with those alternative frames. And with kids' bikes, a lot of times you need bike adapter bars with those too, because the smaller frames don't always fit well over the dual arms. But the CURT Premium is a little bit different in the sense that the arms actually narrow together at the end here, making it a little bit more accommodating for those kids' frames. Now that being said, we still have had some issues with the really small kids' bikes fitting on here, but generally it's going to be more accommodating than something that doesn't have this narrow design at all. And for the 5 bike version, it adds on a 3rd set of those kids' cradles. So perfect for a family with 3 kids. Now I'll get the bike unloaded here so we can get a closer look at the rack, but before I do, I want to point out the handlebar clearance we're having, because from the closest point, or from the back of the motorhome to the center of the cradle, it's only 8.5 inches. So for any bike with a really wide handlebar, I think you're going to have some issues in this first cradle getting it to line up perfectly well. Now, if you've got a small road bike with handlebars that maybe come down, I think you'd be okay. But again, 8.5 inches from that cradle to the back of the motorhome isn't much. Now I'll get it unloaded here, pulling on these rubber straps to release them from the cradle, and then lifting the frame up and away from the arms. I'll set this to the side, and as I do that, you can get a closer look at those cradles, see those rubber straps, and the grooves in the cradles, which create some areas for our brake cables to go through without getting pinched. Now I always like to replace these when I'm done so they're not freely moving around. And we can start to talk about some of the clearance issues. Right here at the back of the mast, it comes very close to touching our motorhome, and if we come down even further where the loop for our cable lock is, that's where we have some issues, where as we're going down the road, experiencing some shock and vibration, bumps in the road, I think you would be making vehicle contact here. It's very close as is. I'm not trying to push on it super hard because I don't want it to actually hit anything, but I think going down the road, this would definitely touch. Now, aside from that, we can get some measurements and see that it does stick out from the back of the vehicle a fair bit, going from the end of the arms to the furthest out point of the vehicle. It's going to be 32 inches. So it does add some length to an already long vehicle. Because that hitch receiver sits really recessed underneath the back bumper, you're not adding as much. And when it's not in use, you can fold the arms down. Here's where we run into our next clearance issue though. As we're folding this down, that will change and it will come close to, and in some cases, pretty much right away, start making contact with the back of the motorhome. So in the folded state, we just have more and more clearance issues. Now it's nice because if you did go with this and maybe put a towel or something back here, just to create a barrier, then yeah, it's not sticking out very far at all. From the furthest out point to the end of the rack, it's only going to be 7 inches. So you're not adding much length past the ladder, which for some people might be really nice, but again, I just wouldn't want this making contact with my motorhome. Moving on down to the hitch though, it is working with our 2" by 2" receiver tube and comes with an anti-rattle bolt that keeps things solid and secure in the hitch. That will help with movement when we're going down the road, but because this rack is able to tilt away when the bikes are unloaded, there's going to be a bit of movement here at the mast. So it's not going to eliminate it entirely, and because it comes so close, I just don't think it's going to be a good fit. Like I said before, we've tested the Yakima LongHaul on this specific vehicle, and it did fit a lot better. Still close, but I don't think you're going to have vehicle contact with it, which is a huge deal for me. Whichever way you go with though, that's been our look at the CURT Premium 4 bike rack on our 2018 Thor Miramar Motorhome. Thanks for watching.